What's going on, fellas? So, I picked back up a Lego game, and it's been a while since I played them. Now, I've never really hated one, but I think the new one, the Star Wars Skywalker Saga, is now like a bigger step in the right direction. While they've really never strayed away from making good steps, we'll say from their humble beginnings of, single episodic games, and then fairly well done. They weren't horrible. They always kept my ADHD brain focused on it. I don't know if it was the shiny colors or it's pretty much a collectathon, just like with any game that I don't know why, but I just love to play. Well, here's the funny thing. After playing that, and then say another jump, which would have been the Lego, what was it? Lego Lord of the Rings. That was a longer pause than I care to admit, but it was Lego Lord of the Rings was a big jump, and it's still a game I love today because it's Middle Earth. You can't hate Middle Earth. That's like hating Christmas, which, yeah, some people probably still do. But I think Middle Earth probably wins Christmas by a long shot. But that was a game I fondly remember, and it's on my PS3. I've played it probably on and off for a few years. I probably would like to pick it back up pretty soon again. It's just a good game, all around well built, well made. The entire environment was cool. And then jump to Lego Heroes, the Lego DC Heroes. An open world game concept was pretty good. The Flash was built well. That was my favorite character because, I mean, super speed, something you hardly ever see in games done right. Legos never misses when it comes to that. Top it off, then they decided to do their Lego Marvel Heroes. One was pretty good. It was in New York. Two was a pretty big slam dunk. Avengers was all right. It's kind of almost like the first one, but DLC. Essentially, that's how I looked at it. And it follows the premise of the movies more than it does the comic book lore. And it still didn't miss. It was pretty good to me. And I have to say, the Harry Potter games weren't too bad. Now, I'm not a huge fan, but I do own the movie set, and I watch it on HBO probably every now and then. And it's not a bad show considering it's something I grew up with. And pretty much the heroes, the stars were around my age. Now that being said, I actually have to say the Marvel or the DC villains, that was a huge breakthrough to me. And I know it may not sound like much, but you could tell graphically the details they put in it, the environments got a little better, and the roster all around was a little bit more diverse as far as the DC villains and heroes. You can definitely tell they put a lot more passion into that. And then the Star Wars saga, not bad, or the Skywalker saga. Wasn't too bad at all either. When I finally actually picked it up, sat down and played it, I tried to play it a little bit like last year when it first came out. And I sat down, tried to play it for a little while, and I just couldn't capture me that quick because I think other games may have came out, so I kind of wandered away from it. And then I got me my PS5 and a bigger hard drive, so I downloaded it on the 4, on the external hard drive to play on, 4. Finally, I got enough room on my 5, so I re-downloaded it again. I know this is a whole lot of nothing burger for that, but I re-downloaded it, and I gave it a try recently, and I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. The entire cinematics, although Lego, are still really nice. The colors are great. The graphics are amazing especially being a Lego game. It's kind of like comparing Toy Story 1 to the new Toy Story. You may not notice that there's a big difference, but go back and watch the first one and then watch the last one. You'll realize there's a big difference. There's a big change. Same thing between, say, God of War 3 and God of War the new one. There's a big difference. Not something you would pay attention to if you probably grew up when they first came out, but it's really nice to see it still going on strong, and I'm hoping we'll even get a new one soon. I'm just wondering what next licensed title is going to be pretty much next, because they've done a lot with Marvel. There's probably not much more they can do, unless they did like Marvel villains, which probably be kind of lame because it's just a knockoff of a DC villains thing, and it was pretty good. I liked it, especially with the Counter Earth, whole Earth 2, whatever it was called, with Ultraman and all them. That was really nice to see that they adapted a little bit of that and let the villains be the hero. Yeah, I hate to say it, there's not too many jokes in my video today because, or if any, it's just more nostalgia, and I felt real touched that, such a good quality game still out there. And it gives me a little bit of hope. There's still other games to be released, honestly. It's a thing that makes me look forward to it because while I'm probably standing alone, and yes, I'm going to die on this hill, I didn't think Final Fantasy 16 was as good as everybody said it was, even though it is probably somewhere in this room right now. it was a big a letdown to me because of the fact it was basically just Devil May Cry for Final Fantasy fans. And I like Devil May Cry. I like Final Fantasy. I just didn't think they needed to be mixed. But then again, when I play Final Fantasy, I really go back to the nostalgic feel of a JRPG, which we haven't had really one that caught my eye in a while. Persona 5, I'm not a Persona fan. I don't get into the high school. Like, I know that's not exactly everything, but it's just high school. It's some weird high school game. It never really picked me up or made me want to play it or keep my attention. Now, I'm not down in the game. It's just not a game that interests me enough to play it or even try to look at it. Now, it really excites me, though, that even like the Lego movies were really good. Something that I did not think I would ever say. And that's another thing. I just can't wait to see, obviously, the next title that's going to come out because a lot of the new games coming out is pretty cool. But Lego would be my first focus because, I mean, Jurassic Park was pretty good. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Jurassic Park, only the first one, because honestly, I don't think people realize that one was the best. It was a good concept. It was the first movie to ever lie to me because T-Rexes don't fucking sound like that, and it's bullshit. But secondly, all the other movies just suck, and you got to play all of them, which, I mean, it's not horrible. It's just the new movies did not excite me like the first one did as a kid, especially now that everything's so CG and back then puppetry was really made you feel like they were there. And I didn't play The Incredibles only because I didn't think there was probably enough enough in it because it was just two movies. And those two movies they're good, but there's not enough in them because I mean if there's a comic book series, which I might be completely oblivious to, and that's my fault and call me ignorant for not knowing about it. But I'm not big on comic book tie-ins from movies and TV shows. I just don't see they don't interest me as much because if you have a medium that you already made, I think it should stay that way unless you're adapting it for like a further audience. A lot of times comic books get adapted to movies because it furthers the audience. It's actually not a bad move. But I don't ever think that going from a movie to a comic book will probably be as great. It's just more of a cash grab, kind of like Ball Tuggy. I just don't like that. Other than that, yeah, not much more to go by. Y'all have a good one.